23 days, I'm moving to Vietnam on a one-way ticket. Everyone has their opinions about what I should be worried about. What about the language barrier? Aren't you scared of the food? What about crime? The traffic is insane. Here's the thing, some of those concerns are valid, but most of them I'm not worried at all. Today I'm telling you what doesn't scare me about this move and why. Let's dive in. Quick note before we start, I already did a video on what does scare me: loneliness, running out of money, getting sick. And those fears are real. I'm not pretending they don't exist, but this video, this is all about the things that people think should terrify me, but don't. The things people bring up constantly that I'm just not concerned about. So let's go through them. The language barrier. Aren't you terrified you can't speak Vietnamese? No, not even a little bit. Here's why. I've lived overseas before without being fluent. I've lived in South Korea, I've lived in Italy, I've been to Spain, Germany, Greece, Austria. I know I'm missing a couple in there, Bosnia, Croatia. I didn't know the languages. I learned survival phrases while I was living there. Enough to greet, enough to get what I want, enough to ask where the heck the bathroom is. This is what you do. And nowadays, it's 1,000 times easier. We all carry a phone in our pocket that has a translating app on it. Google Translate, and you point to menus. You get what you need done. It's awkward at first, but you figure it out. Is it easier if you speak the language? Of course. But is it impossible without it? No. Da Nang is a decent expat community. There are English-speaking Vietnamese people, other expats, and businesses that cater to foreigners. This is their bread and butter. It is a tourist town. I'm not moving to a remote village. I'm moving to a city with infrastructure and international visitors and residents. I'm actively learning. I've been taking Vietnamese lessons 3 times a week on Preply. Am I fluent? Not even close. The tones are destroying me. But I can say hello. I can say thank you. I can order food badly. Ga versus ka. Yeah. You getting chicken or you getting fish? All in how you pitch the A makes a difference. So if you're in Vietnam and you order chicken and you get fish, flip the way you say your A. And most importantly, I can ask where the bathroom is. Nothing like having to pee and you're out and about at a coffee shop or a restaurant and you can't ask where it is. That's survival Vietnamese or any other language depending on the country that you're in. I'll improve as I go, but day one, I'm fine with broken Vietnamese and Google Translate. Now let's talk about body language. Some of it is universal. Pointing, smiling, hand gestures, yeah, that works everywhere. However, you do have to be cautious. Something that here in America we take for granted, crossing our fingers like, hey, praying that, it all works out, right? This is offensive in Vietnam. So you might want to learn before you go making gestures to make sure you're not pissing everybody off. I'm not worried about the language barrier because I've done this before and I've survived long before we had Google Translate in our pocket. Will it be frustrating sometimes? Absolutely. That's part of the adventure. But terrifying? Nope, not at all. Next, let's talk about the food. What if you can't handle Vietnamese food? People ask this one all the time. What if the food's too spicy? What if you get food poisoning? What if you can't find anything you like? Guess what? That can happen anywhere. That can be right here in Syracuse. I could get spicy food. I could get food poisoning. I could go to a restaurant and not find a single thing I like. I am not worried about Vietnamese food at all. Here's why. I love Vietnamese food. I've been eating at Vietnamese restaurants in Syracuse for years. Last few months, I've been there almost daily. Banh mi, bún cha, spring rolls. I already know what I like. Well, authentic Vietnamese food in Vietnam might slightly be different than the catered version for us here in America. But I'm excited about it, not scared. Food safety. Yeah, food safety's manageable, people. Come on. Eat at busy places that have high turnover and fresh food. If none of the locals are eating at that place, that should tell you something right there. Avoid raw vegetables washed in tap water initially. Cook food if you are paranoid. I have traveled enough to know to eat safely in developing countries. If I hate everything, there are alternatives. Da Nang has Korean restaurants, Japanese restaurants, Italian, McDonald's, KFC, and other Western food choices. While personally I'm fine never eating Mickey D's or KFC ever again a day in my life, there was one Western food type that I thought I was going to miss. And a month ago, I discovered a Texas barbecue joint in Da Nang with live blues music. Comfort food and music should I ever get homesick. Hello, Dirty Fingers. Funny side story. While looking at apartments earlier this week, I like to pull up Google Maps and put the little dude on the map and walk the neighborhood. You know, I can do virtual walk around, see what's around there. And yes, I know the images can be like 5 years old. That's okay. You kind of get a feel for what's there. Pharmacies, restaurants, shops, or is it all houses? On one of the tours, about a 2-minute walk. So literally out of the building, down the little alleyway to the main street, turn, and a couple doors up, boom, there's Dirty Fingers. I was like, man, I can't rent this place. I cannot rent this place. I loved it. It had a huge balcony, had 2 bedrooms. It was well below my price range. I was like, man, everything is fitting. This is going to work. It lacked a pool. It had AC. You know, I'm okay with not the pool. That's a nice to have, not a need to have, right? But that would kill me. I would blow my entire budget and then some over there eating brisket, pulled pork, loving that comfort food from right here in the US. So you see, I'm not going to starve. There are plenty of options, even for those who won't eat local food and must have Western food. Why you're traveling, I don't know. Save yourself the stress and stay home. But honestly, I'm looking forward to eating pho for breakfast, street food for lunch, and whatever local spot I discover for dinner. Food is one of the reasons I'm moving to Vietnam, not something I'm worried about. Crime and safety. Isn't Vietnam dangerous? This comes up constantly. People picture crime, scams, theft. I'm not worried about safety in Vietnam. Here's why. Vietnam is statistically one of the safest countries in Southeast Asia. Low violent crime rates. Petty theft, pickpocketing, bag snatching exists, but violent crimes against foreigners is extremely rare. Is it zero risk? No, nowhere is. But statistically, I am safer in Da Nang than I am in most major US cities, including Syracuse. I'm street smart. I don't flash my cash. I don't leave valuables unattended. I am aware of my surroundings. I don't get blackout drunk in unfamiliar places. Hell, I don't even drink. Common sense applies everywhere, no matter what country you're in. I've traveled enough to know how not to make myself a target. Scams are preventable. Yes, tourist scams exist. Taxi scams, overcharging, fake products. But I'm using Grab. It's Vietnam's version of Uber for my transportation. Researching prices before buying and asking locals for recommendations. Scams target people who don't do their homework. I've done my homework. The biggest danger is traffic. And honestly, I'm not any more worried about getting hit by a scooter as I am about being mugged. But even then, I'll learn the traffic patterns. I'll be cautious crossing the streets. I'll adapt. Safety-wise, not concerned at all. Violent crime, kidnapping, cartel violence, like in parts of Mexico, just not a thing in Vietnam. You know what's missing in Vietnam? Guns. Not even the police have them. Which also means no gun violence, no school shootings, or pissed off people opening fire. I'll take my chances in Da Nang over Syracuse any day. While we talked about traffic, let's go right down that avenue. The traffic in Vietnam is insane. Aren't you scared? Yes, traffic looks chaotic. Scooters everywhere, no lanes, organized chaos. Am I worried? Not really. Here's why. It looks worse than it is. Once you understand the flow, it makes sense. Traffic moves slowly, everybody expects chaos, so everyone is cautious. It's not like US highways where one mistake equals a fatal crash at 70 miles an hour. I'm not driving initially. I will be walking or using Grab for my first few months. No pressure to navigate that traffic myself until I'm comfortable. Pedestrians cross by walking steadily. Don't stop, don't run, just walk at a constant pace. Let scooters flow around you. I've been watching dozens of videos. I've heard from expats. It's counterintuitive, but it works. If I do ride a scooter eventually, I'll learn. Take it slow. Practice in a quiet area. Build confidence gradually. But day one, I'm not hopping on a scooter or driving in rush hour traffic. Traffic is intimidating to watch, but living in it, you adapt. I'm not worried about the traffic. I'm just aware I need to learn the rhythm. Healthcare. What if you get sick and need a hospital? What do you think I'm going to, Antarctica? People assume healthcare in Vietnam is terrible. It's not. Here's why I'm not worried. Da Nang has international hospitals, family medical practice, Vinmac, English-speaking doctors who are Western trained, and modern facilities. For routine stuff, checkups, minor injuries, prescriptions, they're great. Healthcare is cheap compared to the US. Even without insurance, a doctor visit is $20 to $40. Prescriptions, a fraction of what they cost here in the US. Dental work, eye exams, all affordable. And yes, I know, I need a tooth. Many of you put it out in the comments. This is not affordable to get repaired here in the US. It is insane, especially when you don't have dental insurance. Here's what I do have. I have a medical fund. It's going to cover my emergencies, my hospitalizations, and evacuation if I need it. This has been part of my plan since day one. If I was younger, the insurance that is out there would be reasonable, and I might consider getting it. But right now, what they want for a male over 50 is just ridiculous. I am not going to invest that money into an insurance company just in case. I would rather take that money and throw it in a high yield savings account and have it available when I need it. For serious emergencies, I could fly to Bangkok or Singapore. Both have world-class hospitals and are a short flight away. Worst case scenario, I fly back here to the US. If something catastrophic happens and I need American healthcare, I can just get on a plane. I am not abandoning my US citizenship. I still have options. Healthcare in Vietnam is actually better than what I can afford in the US without insurance. Medical bankruptcy risk in the US versus affordable care in Vietnam, I'll take Vietnam. I am not worried. Let's talk about the subject that a lot of people have brought up that I tend to stay clear of answering. And here it is. I'm going to answer it in here. However, those of you that want to share comments on it, I will not respond to you. I am not interested in the bullshit politics that everybody plays. It's not a part of my life. I don't give a fuck. This comes up usually from people who know nothing about modern Vietnam. Vietnam is a communist country. Aren't you scared of the government? No, I'm not worried about the Vietnamese government. Here's why. Vietnam is communist in name, capitalist in practice. A free market economy, private businesses everywhere. People own property. It's not 1970s Soviet Union. It's modern, business-friendly Vietnam. As a foreigner, you are typically left alone as long as you are not criticizing the government publicly, running illegal businesses, engaging in political activism, or overstaying your visa. The government doesn't care about me. Pay my visa fees, follow the rules, live my life. I'm not a political activist. I just told you at the beginning of this section, I will not respond to anything. I don't have the time of day for religion, politics, sex, race, any of those arguments that people want to have. There's a gazillion of categories that, honestly, somebody's going to walk away pissed off, and that's what creates a lot of the gun violence bullshit we have here in the US. I got zero tolerance for it. None at all. I'm not moving to Vietnam to protest. I'm moving to live cheaply, enjoy the beach, and work remotely. The government has zero interest in me, and I have zero interest in them. Freedom isn't just political. Yes, Vietnam has internet censorship. Okay, I got a VPN. I can hop back here to the US and get what I need. Freedom of speech. Yes, it's limited. You cannot say negative things. You can't post a negative review about a business. It's ridiculous, I know. But that's their way of life. Everybody here in the US wants foreigners that come here to adapt to our culture, our way of doing things, our system. But the minute they're asked to do it in another country, they have a complete uproar. Majority of them don't want to do it. They think they're entitled. And I'm sick of that attitude from people. Freedom is also not going bankrupt from medical bills, not working until I'm 70, and not freezing my ass off in Syracuse in February. I will take economic freedom over made-up political freedom I never use anyways. I am not worried about the Vietnamese government. Off the soapbox, no more politics, no more of that BS. Missing American conveniences. What about all the things you'll miss from America? People think I will be devastated without a Target, Amazon Prime, a Costco, a Walmart. I'm not worried about missing the American conveniences. Here's why. I don't care about most of that stuff. Amazon Prime, I can wait for shipping or use the Asian version, Shopee and Lazada. Target, Da Nang has a ton of stores and shopping malls. Costco, Mega Mart. It's Vietnam's version. And honestly, they carry some of the same Costco brands like Kirkland inside Mega Mart. Follow that chain and see who really owns Mega Mart. Most American conveniences are just consumerism. I don't need same-day delivery. I don't need 47 options for cereal. Vietnam has its own conveniences. $2 meals delivered in less than 20 minutes. Thank you, Grab Food. $10 motorbike taxis pretty much anywhere in the city. A $30 massage. Cheap tailors, cheap repair, cheap everything. What I'll actually miss, I can get online. Books, Kindle. Shows, VPN and streaming. Specific foods, international stores in Da Nang, or occasionally make a trip out of the country. I've lived without American conveniences before in South Korea and Italy, and guess what? I survived. You adapt, you find local alternatives. American conveniences are nice to haves, not need to haves. I'm sure as hell not going to miss Walmart. Let's talk about another topic people bring up. Aren't you too old to be doing this? And you're doing it alone? People love to point out that I'm 50 and I'm moving solo. Shouldn't you be settling down? This is for 20-year-olds. Aren't you scared to go alone? I'm not worried about being 50 or being alone. Here's why. 50 is not too old. I'm healthy, I'm mobile, I have a good 20 to 30 plus years left. Would this have been easier at 30? Sure. But guess what? I wasn't ready at 30. I'm ready now. I'd rather do this at 50 than sit at 70 regretting I never tried. Solo travel gives me freedoms. No compromise on where to live. No arguing about budgets. No coordinating schedules. I can pivot, adapt, change my mind without negotiating with anyone. Solo is actually an advantage. I'll meet people, expats, locals, viewers. I've already made several connections that are forming and will meet in person when I hit boots on the ground. I won't be isolated unless I choose to be. Being alone teaches you something about yourself. This is a personal journey. Will it be lonely sometimes? Yes. But it'll also be clarifying, empowering, and transformative. I am not worried about being 50 or solo. I'm worried about being 70 and regretting I stayed in the US. So there you have it. The things people think should terrify me. Language barrier, food, crime, traffic, healthcare, government, missing American stuff, being 50 and solo. None of these worry me. Does that mean the move is risk-free? Nope. I'm not dumb. I'm not naive. There are risks. Yes, anywhere I go. Hell, I go down the street from where I'm at right now. There are risks. Why live in the bubble and not be happy? I can worry about those same fears, those same risks anywhere. Why not be in a climate that suits me, in an economy that suits me? I have real fears. Loneliness, running out of money, getting sick and having no support system. But the things people think I should be scared of, those are manageable. And honestly, the biggest risk isn't moving to Vietnam. The biggest risk is staying right here in Syracuse, staying safe and waking up at 70 and realizing I never tried. That's what scares me. Not the Vietnam traffic. 23 days left. Let's do this.